See, historically, there has been a discrimination in India for tens of centuries based on caste. To offset this discrimination and to bring social equity, we need the exact number of data, how many people are affected, in what way, and what could be the solution. We need a modern, contemporary, scientific, pertinent data. And for that, we need a count. The Constitution of India says that in Article 15 and 16, says that the states should ensure affirmative action for the socially and educationally backward. And many people misthink that affirmative action is only reservation. Reservation is just a part. According to me, it's just about 1/3 of affirmative action. The 2/3 is like social programs, scholarships, loans, and like in some states where you have even government tenders given to the downtrodden section of society. So, and even like a Panchayat Raj, that is, according to me, an affirmative action. Women's reservation, that comes under gender discrimination, but that's also part of affirmative action. So, we need a lot of this action to offset the social injustice done for tens of centuries. And our reservation is based on caste. We have nearly a century old data, 1931. The British people took the last census before the World War II. And at that time, India's population was only 28 crores. So we're using this more than 90-year-old data for all our reservations based on the national level or the state level. Karnataka, way back in 2015, was the first state in India to take a caste census. So we see that today we have data for how many we have data for the migratory birds coming from Russia, China, and Australia. How many of them are coming? How long they're staying here? We have data for the stray dogs. How many stray dogs are there in Chennai or Mumbai or Delhi? We have data for the stray cows, cattle going on.
Because all these don't vote.
That's the whole point. But we don't have a data for humans who have been depressed, oppressed, suppressed for centuries and centuries. How much are there? How many are getting education? How many are employed? How they could come out, they could live a life with lots of justice for them. So for that, we need modern data. And 6 states in India have done it or on the verge of doing it. But unfortunately, Tamil Nadu is supposed to be the cradle of social justice champion state, but I am ashamed. I'm ashamed that Tamil Nadu has not done a caste census. The Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, you could wake up a sleeping person, but you can't wake up a person who is pretending to be asleep. So I'm really ashamed, coming from Tamil Nadu, we still haven't done a caste count. We're not asking for a caste census. We're asking for a caste survey. So I have so many examples which I could justify why you want to do this.
But I'm saying forceful argument, but you are with a party in the center. It doesn't like caste census, doesn't like numbers so much, in fact.
See, I don't want to get into the politics.
Census. Forget about caste census.
I don't want to get into the politics of that. See, my party, PMK, has been asking for a caste census right from 1980, even before my party has been formed. And we have been asking the states as well as the center many times. My leader has met all the prime ministers, Mr. Vajpayee ji, Mr. Rajiv Gandhi ji, Mr. Narasimha Rao ji, Mr. Manmohan Singh ji, even Mr. Devagowda, whoever, and Mr. Modi ji, wanting a caste census. But finally, the government has announced a caste census along with the national census. I think they're going to do it 1 year back. But coming back, the national caste census is going to be a macro data. That is not going to be much use. We want a micro data, which the states could only do it. under the caste survey. Bihar has done it. Today, I would like to praise Mr. Nitish Kumar ji. And I would say that he had won the Bihar election, according to me, because of caste census or caste survey. And he had given affirmative action, like 94 lakh families in Bihar. He found out that 94 lakh families in Bihar have a monthly income of less than 6,000 rupees. And he ensured that each family had got nearly 2 lakh rupees for their self-employment, for their upliftment. And they found out that 67 lakh households, they don't have a own house or they're living in huts in Bihar, and they were trying to build houses for them. So this is what you get numbers if you do a count, a caste count. He had increased the reservation, but it was stopped by the courts. Why? Because he had increased the reservation only by numbers. He didn't justify with the social backwardness. If he had done it, the courts couldn't have done anything. Like Karnataka. Recently, Karnataka had done a second caste survey. And prior to that, last 6 months ago, they done a caste survey for the scheduled caste. They had a one-man commission, and within 165 days, they did a caste count for the scheduled caste. And they had subdivided the scheduled caste reservation from 17% to us. They have done it to 6, 5, and 6. They have subdivided. So these are the things which you need to, and I could say that if you have a data, the progress of a state will be quicker. And like Telangana, what happened, they had done a caste count last year, and they had asked 58 primary questions and 19 secondary questions. Sorry, 56 primary questions and 19 secondary questions. So they have a 75 questionnaire data. They have all the data within them. You go to a household, you have the number of people in the house, you ask them which religion they are, which caste, which sub-caste, how many people, what education status, how many women have studied, what doctors, how many doctors, engineers, or how many government employees, private employees, the house, how many bathrooms it has got, the bathroom has got water, it has drinking water, it has electricity, whether the house has got a car or a bike or a cycle or a tractor, how much land they have. All these data you have. And once, like in Tamil Nadu, you get this data, you feed it into a computer, you get the data, you say, Tamil Nadu, how many fishermen are there? They'll say 15 lakh houses, 40 lakh fishermen. I'm just saying approximately. Yeah. And what is the status of the fishermen? How many fishermen are doctors? How many of them are house? How many of them have a boat? All these data you can have, and you can have these affirmative action, like social welfare programs. You give them loan, you make them study, and this is what the micro level development is. This is what the actual development is. Development is not building fancy roads or fancy airports or fancy malls in intellectual city and all these IT cities.
I think when
that's
you
just
have
a part of it.
When you have the caste numbers, you can ask for reservation more than 50% because you have the numbers now. Is that why you also want those numbers?
See,
you want to breach that limit of 50%?
Okay. I'll give you two examples. One is at the national level. In 2017, Prime Minister Modi had appointed the Justice Rohini Commission to get into the disparities within the OBC reservation, that's 27% reservation at the center. See, another issue, which is simultaneously I could like to point that in India there are 15 to 17% of the scheduled caste population, 15 to 17%. The scheduled caste get 15% reservation. The scheduled tribe population in India is about 7 to 8%. The scheduled tribes get 7.5% reservation. The OBC reservation in India is OBC population in India, according to me, is about 60%, but they get only 27% reservation. And in the 27% reservation, there's so much of disparities. The Rohini Commission has found out that out of 2,633 communities in OBCs, 10 communities take away 24.9%. That's about 27% of the seats. Education and employment reservation. Another 38 communities in a cluster take away another 25%. Another 102 communities in a cluster take away 25%. Another 506 communities in a cluster take away 22.5%. So 97.5% of the education and employment of the OBC, 27% OBCs, are taken away by 565 communities out of 2,633. And 1,977 communities, they are fighting for just 2.5% of the reservation.
Yeah. And
So,
of that, if you're quoting figures, 983
83
get zero.
Zero. 983, they get zero out of that.
Yeah.
So this is the data we want. This is the data we need in each state. Tamil Nadu, take example Tamil Nadu. There are 140 communities in BCs, backward classes. They have 30% reservation, but out of that 26.5% BCs and then 3.5 Muslims. Muslims, they have 3.5% reservation. There are 7 subgroups. And out of 7 subgroups, 2 subgroups take away majority of the seats.
Yeah.
And MBC, they have 115 communities in MBCs. We don't know who's getting the lots of seats and who's getting less seats.
Yeah.
Scheduled caste, even though they have 3 main groups, they have 74 subgroups.
Staying with the Rohini Commission. Rohini Commission, I have read the report, and they suggest that the OBC should be divided into 4 categories
yes.
and then redistribute 27%.
Absolutely.
Are you okay with that?
Absolutely.
How does it help?
We are, see, another example. If in a room, you have 100 mangoes in a room, you let in 100 people to share the mangoes. Will each of them take 1 mango?
No.
No. People like hefty people, strong people, they will go and take away many mangoes. Like weak people, they will try to fight, but they won't get any mangoes. And so you categorize, you separate those mangoes, and then you say those weak people here, you have so much of mangoes. Stronger people, you have few mangoes, you take them. So this is the sub-classification we want. And then there will be social equity. So social justice will be there. So you need to identify who are these weak people, who are not getting an opportunity, who have not got employment or education. You can't identify the problem, you can't have a solution to that.
No, anbumani. You want the hefty and the strong people to have more mangoes. You are against the distribution of those mangoes.
No.
You are...
No, I'm saying
the
strong
hear me
people...
out. Listen to my question.
Yes.
Because you are against the creamy layer.
Okay.
Creamy layer is the layer that gets the mangoes.
Okay.
And you want them to retain those mangoes. And it shouldn't go to anybody else.
No.
In the room. In the room.
Out of 100 mangoes, the strong people
I'm
will
on creamy
get...
layer.
Yeah, they will get only 10 mangoes. The strong people will get only 10 mangoes.
Why?
The weaker people will get 90 mangoes.
Why should they get 10 mangoes?
Okay. When you say creamy layer is an unconstitutional thing. It's not there in the Constitution. It is just brought by the Supreme Court in the Indira Sawhney case.
You are arguing against yourself when you say that. Because you made a case that everybody should get a mango.
Yeah. I'm coming back to your point. There is no creamy layer for scheduled castes or scheduled tribes. There is only creamy layer for OBCs.
Doesn't matter.
Why? Okay.
How does it matter?
What we want, I mean, I'm an OBC. What OBC want today, okay, you have 27% reservation. You first give that first opportunity to the creamy layer for the 27%. And out of 27%, if 20% are filled by the creamy layer, not the below the creamy layer concept, the rest 7% today is moved on to the open competition. Why that? Why can't you give the 7%, which are not filled by the creamy layer, to the non-creamy layer OBCs? What stops you in that? OBCs are definitely, they have been deprived for centuries. You just can't wish away something like, you have to give them justice. So you make use of 27% reservation for OBCs to the OBCs. You give the first priority to the creamy layer. That is people who have got less than 8 lakh annual income, you give the first opportunity to them. And if there are any seats remaining, you give it to the non-creamy layer OBCs. Why should you take it to the forward communities? So no. This is...
You argued so well so far, but here I disagree with you. I'm saying you give the 25% to the non-creamy layer. If they don't get it, Give it to the creamy layer. If they don't get it, then you give it to others.
This is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying.
So why are you against the concept of creamy layer?
But today...
You're calling it unconstitutional? Yes, it is
No,
not there in the
today
Constitution.
what is
but
happening...
it's for better distribution of those mangoes.
See, what is happening today is, out of 27% OBC, only 20% of the seats are filled. The 7%, approximately 7% is not filled because of creamy layer slab. Those 7% seats are transferred to the open competition. Why is that? That 7% should remain in the OBC list, and it should go to the non-creamy people who have got more than 8 lakh annual income, should go to them. That is natural justice.
So you are for the concept of creamy layer,
Let
but
it be.
you want a slight improvement in
Absolutely.
it. Then you don't call it unconstitutional.
Absolutely. I mean, that should... I mean,
You're
today
just changing yourself now.
Today it is unconstitutional. So the first priority should be people who have got less than 8 lakh income, you give them the first priority. You fill up all the seats. The remaining seats should be within the OBC. You shouldn't be transferred to the OCs. So that is the concept which I want to do that like. And again, the 50% cap. Why you need 50% cap? Where's there in the Constitution that says that 50% cap for reservation? This 50% cap was brought in 1962 by the Balaji versus State of Karnataka court, and Supreme Court says 50%, without any reasoning, without any science in that, without any data in that.
Yeah,
and it was upheld in
Sani.
1992, Indira Sani case, 50%.
Yeah.
Tamil Nadu escaped. Tamil Nadu, because of Ms. Jayalalitha in 93, 95, 4, our reservation is 69%. And Jayalalitha ji, she ensured that this was protected under the 9th schedule of Constitution. We had a constitutional amendment. Mr. Narasimha Rao was the Prime Minister at the time, and she made sure that there was an amendment, and then till date it is protected. But that protection also is now question mark. Now people have gone to court against that 69% reservation in Tamil Nadu, and it's in the cases in the Supreme Court Justice has asked the government to clarify, saying that whether Tamil Nadu has got 69% of SC, STs, MBCs, and BCs.
Yeah.
And for that, we need a count. And our Chief Minister, he's not bothered about anything.
Why do you think Stalin
Yeah, you
is
should
not
ask the question to
counting?
him.
What is your understanding? Because it helps him if he counts.
Absolutely. And he says that his great-grandfather is Tandai Periyar, his grandfather is Annadurai, and his father is Kalanyar. They were stalwarts of social justice. He doesn't have any iota to mention their names also. And DMK is completely social, therefore social injustice. If they had some iota of social justice in them, he should have counted Tamil Nadu, count them. There are cases in the Supreme Court. Plus, Telangana has done it, Karnataka has done it, Andhra is going to do it, Orissa has done it, Bihar has done it, Jharkhand is doing it. And you call yourself a social justice party? No.
Okay.
You have social justice by the data. Okay. And data is everything today.
Do you think it could be a big issue in the coming elections?
Absolutely, it will be a big issue. I've called for a protest in December 17th. I'm calling all the parties to come and join the protest. Like, if other states could count, why can't you? And why are you escaping? Why are you shying away your responsibility? Under the Indian Statistical Act 2008, a panchayat president has the authority to do a count in his panchayat, whether it is caste count or a water count or a house count, any count. Chief Minister has got the same authority. The High Court of Karnataka and the High Court of Bihar have recently said that not only the center, the states has the authority to do a caste count.
Yeah.
The High Court of Karnataka has said. So why can't you do it? What stops you? What prevents you? It's going to take you 2 months. So, and why are you shying away from data? And this is data we need for a state to progress. If ordinarily a state progresses, it takes 30 years for a state to progress. If you have data, it will progress within 10 to 12 years.
Ruling parties don't like data. You have a party in the center that doesn't like data. Census that you were supposed to have, decennial census, 2011, has not happened so far. Despite COVID, 135 countries have already done it. They also don't want data. It shouldn't surprise you. You've
But
been
then,
in power.
but then they have announced
Then
that.
I'm asking you about the statement that Stalin made, women having 16 children remark. Do you think delimitation is going to be a big political issue? It will deprive the southern state, the political clout that they have.
Mr. Debang, before we digress from this issue of delimitation, let me just come back to
Caste census.
Caste census data. Why we need to justify data here? Like, why we need? There are many court cases like at the center or the state level, and each state we have cases like going around like that. And in Tamil Nadu, coming back to Tamil Nadu, because always this is the cradle of, so-called cradle of social justice, where stalwarts like Tandai Periyar, he fought for social justice, and subsequently all that we are in this like. And it should be a primary state, like it should have had its caste count done even before Karnataka has done it. Karnataka has done it twice, and in fact, I appreciate what they're doing it like. And coming back to this count, like again, I said that first we need to know the problem of how many people have not got to get them to whether it is reservation or whether it is like education or employment or they have to be leading a respectable life. Like. So that, again, I would like to reiterate that Tamil Nadu has to do a caste survey.
Yeah.
National level is a macro level, state level is a micro level, and the micro level is much needed for a state to progress holistically.
Yeah.
Yes. Now coming back to your delimitation census. Yes, census, it should have been done, decennial census every 10 years, like because of Corona now we have put it off. It should have been done in the last, I think, 2 years, 3 years, but they have, at least they've announced it that by 2027, but next year they'll start and we'll get data rolling out by 27. Like.
Yeah, because one speculation that the house size, the parliament will be having 848 members. UP from 80 seats will go to 143 seats. Southern states may lose members. Kerala would just be 20. So they will lose all political clout. I mean, then politicians in the north don't have to look at south.
No, but the central government has not rolled out what it is going to do, about how it is going to do, or how whether it is going to increase or decrease the numbers based on the population. So it has not let out its stance. Central government has not let out, set out its stance that what it is going to do, whether we're going to have the same 543 members in the Lok Sabha, or they're going to increase it based on that. But the delimitation we have till 26, you can't do anything much like. And the data, the census done after 26 only will be taken for delimitation. But that's going to take some time though.
Do you think, is that why the center is waiting so that the figures come out just before the next elections? After 26, you do the delimitation and come back to power.
I don't want to get into that nitty-gritty of those things. Like, I'm not in a position to comment on that. Like, you should ask the BJP for that. Like, so. But at the same time, like, we are insisting for an early count, census count as well as a caste count in that. Like, so.
What do you think about Vijay? Do you think he's going to be a force in the coming election?
See, Vijay, I mean, he's one of the leading actors in Tamil Nadu. He started his party. I wish him good. But he has just come, he's just meeting the public, like, and right now he's in his honeymoon period, I could say, like, so it's going good for him right now with the people and masses and coming, like, but he has to come down. Politics is just not something where you come and then you immediately win power or something like that. You have to it's a long grind. People have to have confidence in you. In Tamil Nadu, every movie star, they have crowds. Whether they are a star or not, you act in a movie, you get crowds, like, that's there. But how much of this will percolate as votes, transform as votes, we are yet to see. And,
one more grouse that the southern states have, that they contribute to the national GDP, contribution of the southern states is 30%. Population is just 19.6%. And because they have lesser number of people, what they get in return is just 16%.
Yes, I am with you. I accept you, but we shouldn't be penalized because we're doing good in population.
Absolutely.
Population stabilization. Like in fact, Bihar, the TFR today in Bihar is about 3.1. It was 3.6 earlier, now 3.1. UP is about 2.6.
Yeah.
Tamil Nadu is about 0.7. Kerala is 0.6. So we are doing good in population-wise. We shouldn't be penalized because we've done good. We have done well in population stabilization. So that is not to be, and we won't accept that. Like, so on that, there should be equity and justice for all. It should be uniformity, and at least the main thing is like, don't increase anything. Just status quo maintained. Like, let it be there. So you have a count, you have a national count, and you have a caste count, and then let the status quo continue.
Thank you so much, Anbumani.
Thank you very much.
I see that you have learned how to evade the questions you don't want to answer. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. May we kindly have the pleasure of inviting Mr. Tushar Banerjee to join us back on stage to felicitate our speaker. A session that cut through all of the superficial parts of it and went straight to the core. Ladies and gentlemen, this particular session focusing on caste census has been a lovely reminder, I think, to each of us on how it plays such a key role, whether it's the opportunities that come our way, whether it's the welfare, and a great wake-up call to the gaps that we are facing along the way. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, our next session focuses once again on AI. I think that is definitely the buzzword. And today, we not just talk about AI as a magical partner, but we look at AI within the space of education. Is it a very futuristic concept? How much a part of our lives has it already been? And how much is it going to be a part of as we move ahead? How are the children learning? Where are they observing this from? How do they learn to question? And after learning all of this, where are we applying the knowledge? Ladies and gentlemen, a wonderful unveiling of exactly these very questions coming our way with our upcoming session that is titled, well, I want to tell you that this is going to be an interesting conversation. Without giving away too much, we have something very special we want to present to you as well. Our stage is all set. This particular session is going to feature Mr. Yash Mehta. May I kindly welcome CEO of ABP Education Division to join us on stage. May we also have senior journalist Ms. Kaveri Bamzai join us, driving this particular conversation. Well, you can see that there are a few extra chairs, and that only means that we have a wonderful surprise coming our way. But without giving away too much, I can tell you that this very conversation is going to take us to the foundational learning when it comes to the AI space, one that aims to kind of prepare children for tomorrow in the best way possible. Over to you, Kaveri.
We've heard so much about AI all day today, and especially from Professor Kamakoti, who knows a little more than all of us too. So what really do you think, what part do you think it's going to play in the digital transformation of learning? And how are children going to learn in this new world?
Okay, you're specifically talking about AI per se in the schools?
Yes.
So
Which is what you're associated with.
Yeah, in fact,